the agenda.
11 o'clock, and we talk now with our first guest of the morning. That is you, Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast. You are a political analyst, and we truly always do value your input whenever you share your thoughts with us on the show. Today, we're going to be looking at the issue around the expulsion of Ace Magashule from the party. That is obviously the ANC. And Batabile Dlamini has very strong views on this matter. She goes on to say that the organization has a history of being patient, even when dealing with difficult members, and there was really no need to have rushed the expulsion of Ace Magashule. Is it good or bad for the party? And where does he move on from here? Is there place for him on any other political party in the country, given that the elections are just around the corner? Dr. Breakfast, a very good morning. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me. I don't think that the ANC was hasty in taking a decision to expel him, because he was given two golden opportunities to make right what he did to suspend the ANC president unilaterally without the knowledge of the ANC. I think that's the charge in the main. Now, he was given the first golden opportunity to apologize to the president, and he didn't want to do that. Secondly, he was given an opportunity to present his side of the story, and he didn't want to do that. Now, based on that, I would argue that he was asking for this. Because the argument that the ANC at the moment is purging, I think falls away on the basis of what I've said. How do you say that you are being purged, but you don't even want to present the side of your story? You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense that the ANC has been impatient with him. I think he realizes that because of the bad blood that exists between himself and the faction of Ramaphosa, he doesn't want to work with them, or he doesn't think that there's a space for him to contribute currently to the state of the ANC. But also what has compounded the situation is the fact that there has been a fallout between himself and former President Zuma. Remember, former President Zuma did not want to anoint him to be the presidential contender on behalf of radical economic transformation. By contrast, he anointed his former wife. So that did not sit well with some people in some quarters. So there's still, I would say, a bad blood between them. Because also when you look at the turnout of supporters of Ace Magashule when he appears for his court hearings, it has been very low of late. So I think the only way out for him now is to join forces with Kanye House outside the ANC. Because even if it's a political party, it might not perform well electorally.
Do you think that had things turned out differently, had he apologized and or possibly explained his position, that things might have, we would be looking at a totally different outcome? And would he still have had a place on, with the party? What would that position have looked like then?
It's very difficult to confirm that would have been the case. I think that is everyone's guess. But that would have given him room to maneuver. For instance, now he cannot even appeal. How do you appeal but you've never even presented the side of the story? That wouldn't make sense. I mean, even if he goes to court, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that case would be struck off the roll. Because he did not use the opportunity was given to present the side of the. I mean, for instance, okay, let me be specific in answering the question. Had he made the apology, then the charges would have been withdrawn. End of story. Then he would have had a chance to still be a member of the ANC, or maybe the sanction would have been less. But the sanction now is severe, because being expelled means that you've been cut off the party.
Undoubtedly, there is this deep faction within the ANC. They're not all, necessarily in agreement with each other, with each other's views, with each other's thinking regarding how the ANC moves forward, etc. We also know there's the RET faction. And of course, with elections around the corner, there's going to be a lot of horse trading happening as well. Do you think that Ace Magashule has been used supposedly as a scapegoat, sending out a very clear warning to others who might cross the line, that this will be your fate should you cross the line? Because you certainly have your two camps, but they stick very, they really support each other very, very strongly. We also, we the public are aware of all the shenanigans that goes on within the party, whether there is a divide or not, but they do support each other. Um, Even after the Zondo Commission, nobody has been brought to book. And here we have the expulsion of Ace Magashule. What do we make of all of this? I personally was expecting heads to roll after the Zondo Commission, but
No,
nothing has come to pass.
no, of course. I think during the first term of Ramaphosa as the president of the ANC, the forces of RET were at their peak because, I mean, every now and then they were breaking ranks, I mean, opposing some of the decisions of the NEC, even though the Ramaphosa faction had an upper hand, and it does have an upper hand. But at the moment, I think the Ramaphosa faction has consolidated its power, especially after this conference that were coming from of the ANC. I think the electoral outcomes were overwhelmingly in favor of the Ramaphosa faction. So now the forces of RT have been weakened. They are on the back foot. I fully concur with you that there should have been heads that were rolled as a result of the reports that were produced by the Zondo Commission. But the ANC is looking for a political solution in that regard because it doesn't want the implementation of the Zondo Commission to spill over on how the party functions. Because you must remember there are also people in the Ramaphosa faction who might be affected, like
Hmm.
Antash, Ntsikelelo, and so on. Now, elections are just around the corner. The ANC now also wants to function as a unified force. That's why those reports of the Zondo commission have been put on hold. I don't think that they are going to be implemented anytime soon. Maybe they might be considered because they might be considered after the upcoming general elections.
Um, quite, quite a sad state of affairs. Um, if What do you think Ace Magashule's role will be now? You alluded earlier on to the fact that he might join forces with one or two other small political parties. I think you mentioned in particular another disgraced member of the ANC. And you think that he might go that route. Chances that he joins the EFF, or is there no place for him with the EFF? Do they have totally different views regarding their personal politics are concerned?
I don't think he will join the EFF because though that is possible, I don't think that he's going to do that, given the fact that he has been seen as one of the proponents of radical economic transformation, and his friend Carl House is pushing that agenda. I think the mere fact that maybe it was a coincidence, but the mere fact that Carl House has spoken against the disciplinary hearing of the ANC of Ace Magashule signifies that you are trying to reach out to him, or they are trying to reach out to each other. But also, when Kalni House was dismissed, Ace Magashule had defended. In fact, you must remember, Ace Magashule is the one who employed Kalni House in his office. So this is
Ah,
a political relationship. So it
mhm.
would make sense for him to gravitate to that space of Kalni House.
And possibly be paying back a favor. It's all about favors, payback
Of course,
time.
of course.
Be that as it may, we do know Carl Niehaus is really pushing the RET very, very hard. But so is the EFF. What do you suppose is going to play out? pre and post the upcoming elections?
You know what? I don't think that the EFF is pushing. I don't want to say the ideology. RET is not an ideology, just a political program. But anyway, I don't want to go down that road. But they're not pushing the RET program. Their political enemy is Ramaphosa. They're using anything that can be a strategy to unleash an attack on Ramaphosa. EFF subscribes to socialism. RET is not socialism, even though it does have elements of it, like expropriation of land without
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
so on. But it's not a socialist model. It's just an opportunistic strategy, to come across as if you are concerned about the power relations between the haves and have-nots. It was just introduced to divert our attention from institutionalization of corruption. Because Zuma, when he was in charge, he wanted to continue those policies of Thabo Mbeki himself. He said so that we're not going to see any changes. So if you were serious about RET, you would have said so when he was elected at Polokwane that he believes in RET and he would have implemented it. How can you say that the land must be returned to the original people when you're on your way out, but while you held the position for a long time, you did not implement that?
I'm going to ask you a question, and let's be a bit reflective about this. We're hearing lots of noises about now when Cyril Ramaphosa, was appointed the new president of the country. There was lots of hope. He spoke about the new dawn, and Zuma left on the back of a horrible scandal, Gupta Gate. And then, we saw the repercussions of all of that playing out. Zuma and his followers flexed their muscles with the rioting in July of last year. And we saw just how powerful, he still is, even though he is in early retirement or whatever his position might be. But if we make a comparison, lots of people are saying that South Africa was way better under Zuma's tenure than it is now currently under Ramaphosa's tenure. And we are seeing so much more corruption being exposed and so much more shenanigans being exposed. Are you of that opinion as well? Or is it just a situation of people being so disillusioned that they now probably harking back to the old days when things weren't possibly as bad as they seem now?
I think we made a mistake by thinking that the conflict that broke out during the Zuma tenure between his faction and the Ramaphosa faction was about the good and the bad, because these factions are the same. Ramaphosa might be a candidate that a lot of people had hopes in, because he worked very close with Nelson Mandela, and he was also preferred by Nelson Mandela to be the next president after him, even though that could not happen. But at the same time, I think it's let down a lot of people, because, as you said earlier on, institutionalization of corruption under his tenure has been entrenched. We've seen people using social and political capital in pursuit of personal accumulation. A case in point is basically, what had happened under the circumstances of COVID-19. We've seen people doing wrong things not being punished so long as they're aligned to his faction. So, it has been really the worst state of affairs. I think there's been concern about consolidating his power at the expense of the country. For instance, the ministers who don't perform, that. Look at the issue of power outage. Gordon Tashi is not performing the way he should have. Pravin Gordhan, look at the state of affairs of parastatals. But why do heads not roll? Because those people have political power and he cannot afford to rub them the wrong way. So he keeps them so that he can also hold on to power. But at whose expense? At the expense of the country.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, on top of that, he doesn't chop off heads. He appoints new ministers left, right, and centre at the cost of us as taxpayers, and that's painful. That's very painful.
Look, I mean, he's a smooth talker. He says all the right things with no action. I
Hmm.
mean, the decision to appoint this electricity minister, it was hasty. It was not thought through. I mean,
Hmm.
there has been a tension between the minister in question with other ministers who are concerned about petty issues about where does power lie. Does it lie with this minister or with that minister? Citizens are not interested about that. They're interested about doing away with the issue of power outage. Full stop. That's what we're interested in. You're not interested in where does power lie. Does it lie with this minister or with that minister? So also it shows that these people are also childish. I'm sorry to put it that way. They are concerned about petty issues. They're not concerned about the development of the country. But the president
Absolutely.
does that so long as something is done by those of his own. If something is done by those not of his own, then he acts.
Yep. And all we're interested in as citizens and taxpayers, loyal taxpayers at that, is service delivery and saving the country from utter ruin. That's where we're going to leave it. Lots more interesting conversations to be had in the future with you regarding government and their shenanigans. Let's just wrap up with your final thoughts regarding Ace Magashule, his possible alliance with Carl Niehaus, and is he still relevant as far as the political landscape is concerned?
I don't think so, but I think with the support from First State of disgruntled ANC members who feel like they have no role to play under the Ramaphosa tenure, maybe they might join him as well in that political party. So in the upcoming general elections, they can get few seats and maybe put some pressure on the whichever administration that will rise to prominence, because there are many possibilities. I don't want to say put pressure on the ANC because I don't know if the ANC can take to power.
And these are the guys that are going to settle scores, aren't they? Once they do secure seats in parliament, or, depending how strong their political party does turn out to be, there's going to be a lot of score settling post the elections. Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast, lovely talking with you.
Thank you
And
very much.
undoubtedly, we will talk some more in the future. God bless.
Much
Take care.
all the best. Thank you very much.
8:28 exactly, news and views right here on Salam Media. We will be talking in a couple of minutes' time with Ministerial Committee Chairperson Ambassador Ibrahim Rasool. We're going to be looking at the efficient management of the annual Hajj and Umrah pilgrimage, inshallah.